How's it going, YouTube? I want to touch on a topic today that is pretty popular in the hobby, but you know, still seems to be a topic of discussion, and it should be. Basically, what we're going to talk about today is enclosures, and you know, what you can do, how you can display your teas, how you can house them. Given the care requirements for most of your tarantulas, it's very basic, and as long as you got your basic husbandry down, enclosures, sky's the limit. So feel free to be creative and try new things. A lot of the enclosures you're going to see, I can't take credit for, because someone else had shown me the idea, you know, like, hey, have you tried doing this with an enclosure? I know a lot of people, they jump to the first thing, which is like the Sterilite tubs, or, you know, like the 10-gallon aquariums, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of these people just don't know that these other options are available, or maybe haven't thought to implement them. So I'm going to show you a couple of my enclosures and different things. Now, if you're just getting into the hobby and you want to be able to go into a pet store and walk out with everything you need and not have to fiddle with, you know, trying to build an enclosure, then by all means, go the 10-gallon aquarium route or the Exoterra route. There's nothing wrong with that. Exoterra makes a really nice enclosure, but be prepared to spend a little money. Now, if you're like me, money's not infinite, and you got to kind of be creative in ways to try to save money. So, but still, you know, still have a really nice enclosure. And what you can do there is, a lot of people, I know what I've been doing, and it's fairly simple and doesn't really cost a lot, and it looks a heck of a lot better than the good old Sterilite tubs, which, like I said, again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what's available to you in the area, then by all means, feel free. There's nothing wrong with that. But without any further ado, we're going to start getting into a few little ideas here. Now, where I go is, there is a hobby shop close to me called Hobby Lobby, and they sell various amounts of little knickknacks and stuff for projects. But what I've really gotten into the habit of using is their display cases. Now, I've got one still in the box right here. These are $6, $7, like right out the gate. Now, if you go on Hobby Lobby's website prior to going, or if you're subscribed to their email list like I am, they send you 40% off coupons every month. So you can turn around and go and buy one of these for $7, and then you get 40% knocked off of that. So it ends up being like $4. And when you get them, they just kind of open this here. Mind me, I'm trying to do this one-handed. And they'll come just like this. It's exactly how they come, just like that. Now, depending on what you're going to house, you can have them this way for, say, a terrestrial, or turn around and flip them this way for an arboreal. And then when you do that, you just figure out where you want to cut your door and glue the bottom piece on, and then there you've got a really nice, beautiful acrylic enclosure. And it looks a heck of a lot better than the Sterilite tub option. Now, there's nothing wrong with this. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It does what it's supposed to do. It may not be the prettiest, but you know what? It's still cheap, and it does what it needs to do. I'm just letting you know that this option is available to you, and it looks a heck of a lot better. Now, there is a little bit more work with making something like this, as far as making your cuts. You got to be careful because it is acrylic. It can crack very easily. But basically what I do when I build these, here's a couple examples right here, is I'll find some nice little hatches or hinges and glue those on. Now you can get as creative as you want with this. See, here's another different hinge. There's a more decorative hinge, I should say. Different hinge there. And you can get as creative as you want. You can do the 2 hinge, you can do the 1 hinge, put some nice decorative ones on there, and you've got a really nice display piece. And this is applicable to anything. I mean, because I've got a pretty good size king baboon in here. It's probably about like that. Good sized juvenile in there, and he's plenty happy in there. Same thing down here. There's my Nandu in the same kind of setup. A Homori, same setup. Now, I do have some critter keepers because that's what I was able to get that was available to me at the time. You know, sometimes they do sell out of these, and when that happens, it kind of sucks. But the critter keepers are also another option. Now, this here, as we all know, this wonderful name right here, Exoterra. This is the Exoterra Nano. This is kind of a complete glass enclosure. These are really nice. I think I picked this one up for like 40 bucks. You can go this route. There's nothing wrong with it. Just be prepared that you're going to spend a little bit of money. Now, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, and you don't want to go the Sterilite route, which, like I said, again, nothing wrong with this. I use it personally. This was one of the first tanks that I ever built. And, you know, it's not pretty. It's not wonderful. It has flaws. But you know what? It does the job. And it wasn't... I mean, I may have maybe $10 in this tank right here. Cork bark and everything included. Maybe 10 bucks. In here, I've got probably, you know, 50 or 60. I mean, they're basically the same size, and they do the same thing. Now, we come up here. That's one of those crystal clear display cases, just like this, that I modified into an enclosure. And they look fantastic. Now, you can do however you want to do your ventilation and whatnot. Let's see, I'll show you what's in here. Let me just get a better hold on it. This is my Poecilotheria regalis. And there she is down there. She's plenty happy in here. There's plenty of space for her to grow. We're going to go ahead and put her back. Now, other options as well. This is what I keep some of my slings in. This is my green bottle blue. This is the same thing, just scaled down. And, you know, these are really cheap. I may have like $2 here in total materials, including the case here. And these come in a pack of, I think, like 6 or 8. I can't remember. But, you know, a quick soldering iron with some holes and, you know, bam. You've got a really nice little sling enclosure. Same thing with my pumpkin patch down here. And these look great, you know. And not a lot of people, I guess, have really thought about using stuff like this. That's the beautiful thing about tarantulas, like I said. Here, this is a candy enclosure. This is the Ferrero Rocher. I got this idea from Petco from the Dark Den. You see she's having a nice little super worm there for a meal. That's my P. erminia. And a nice little, you know, they make nice little enclosures. Front opening door. Really simple. Simple, yet effective, and it doesn't cost you. It's not going to break the bank to build these. Now, there's nothing wrong if you want to go the whole 10-gallon tank, you know, outlook. Or like I said before with the Exoterra, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, be prepared to spend a little bit of money. Now, like I said, if you're wanting to go into a pet store and walk out with everything you need and price isn't really an option, Exoterra or the 10-gallon here is a really good option for someone who doesn't really want to build enclosures. But don't let the little bit of work scare you and frighten you away from trying it. It's really not that hard, and you can build and knock out an enclosure with some basic cork bark and stuff within... Oops. Just kind of punted my crickets there. But you can basically have a really nice enclosure like this for maybe $15 max. And, you know, they've also got these nice little critter keepers. These are cheap. These are a cheap option too. However, the one drawback to these critter keepers that I have found, and with some of my species that don't really require humidity, these are great. If you do have a species that requires humidity, not so much, because they have a boatload of ventilation and it really dries the substrate out quite quickly. So keep that in mind. But you know, like I said, sky's the limit, people. Feel free to get creative. Think of something. Think outside the box. If you've got a really nice display tee, why put it in a Sterilite tub? I mean, like I said, hey, I'll show you. I'm not biased. I'm using one right now. This is my Grandma Stola Pulchripes. This is just temporary. But look, Sterilite tub. Nothing crazy. Top lid. There, look, Sterilite. Nothing crazy. And she's plenty happy in there. See, there's nothing wrong with this. This is like the third, I think the maybe third enclosure that I had ever built. You guys want to see the first enclosure that I ever built? This was for my Pinktoe before I got the Exoterra. And that was before I found out about these lovely little things. The first enclosure that I ever built is down here. There's some vermiculite. The Mr. Fix-Er-All, some nice duct tape there. Right here. First enclosure that I ever built. Burned all the holes in with a soldering iron. Cut the door with a hacksaw. Glued a hinge to it. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. I'm just telling you, there's nothing wrong with this. It's fine. It does the job and does what it needs to do. But like I was saying, with tarantulas, with their basic requirements for care, sky's the limit. I mean, as long as you can access it and get them in and out safely, and you know, it meets their space requirements, by all means, you know, feel free to create. Be creative. Build that one-of-a-kind enclosure to really put that tee on a pedestal. I mean, that's why we buy these things, right? Is because they're gorgeous and they're beautiful and we want to show them off. So, I mean, I know the Sterilite tubs are easy and efficient and they're cheap. And like I said, nothing wrong with it. But don't be afraid to try different stuff. Don't be afraid to try to build a different kind of enclosure. Maybe something someone's never done before. Like, for instance, take this display case here. Think of how awesome that would be, being a multi-tier tarantula display case. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of work and things, but you know what? It can be done. And I guarantee you, ain't no one going to have a rotating display of tarantulas in their house. Don't be afraid to try different stuff. This hobby, like I said, I got into it as a start to kind of face my fear of arachnophobia, but it's developed into something so much more. As to the point to where I want to get into breeding. I want to be able to get into breeding and be able to witness a lot of things happen that you normally wouldn't get to watch happen in nature. And I'm actually absolutely captivated by these things. But it's like a... I had someone tell me one time that tarantulas, getting them, they're a lot like tattoos. And I know, I've got a tattoo. Once you get one, you're gonna want more. That's just the way it works, because you can't. They're so diverse and so beautiful, and they're amazing, and you just can't just have just one. You know, it'd be like trying to telling a car person you only have one car for the rest of your life. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But like I said, I just wanted to touch on this topic for a little bit, because I'm kind of slowed up on my feeding videos, I know. But it's because I got a lot of slings, and a lot of my matures, or my sub-adults to adults, they're all in pre-molt. So they're not eating at the moment. And, you know, it's not really that exciting to watch little teeny tiny slings feed, because a lot of times you drop the cricket in and you spook them and then they just don't eat until later anyways. Oh, you know what? While you guys are here, I will actually give you an update. As some of you know, if you watched my videos, that my dune scorpion had babies. Only one survived, unfortunately, and it's still kicking. This is little Raza, and he is right there. Let's see if I can turn this without spooking him. There he is. Oop. Look at there's a little guy. He's doing really good. He's eating. I've been feeding him flightless fruit flies and some pinhead crickets that I had infest one of my enclosures. So I just kind of dumped them in here, and I've been feeding them to Raza here. And he's eating. So he's eating. He's growing. There is hope for him yet. But I think at this note, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. Like I said, I just wanted to give you guys touch on a little topic that's pretty popular in the community and show some of the options that are out there for you. So that way you guys can, take this and maybe apply it to your own collection, and maybe do some upgrading on those sterilites and have some really nice enclosures. Now, you don't have to use a soldering iron. There's plenty of videos on YouTube here that'll show you exactly how to build these bad boys. And you can take it a step further and buy the really nice pre-made vents if you want, and use a hole saw. Just be careful using a hole saw with acrylic, as acrylic, it does this funny thing when it gets hot. It just, when it cools, it melts to whatever it's stuck to. So when you use a hole saw and you want to do that, make sure you get that blank piece out of your hole saw, otherwise it's not coming out. I had that happen with a piece of acrylic, and it just completely ruined the hole saw. Oops. But yeah, so that way you guys can feel creative and just totally maybe go through and do some renovations in your collection and have something really nice when you're done, instead of the go-to sterilite tubs, or I mean, you can only fit so many 10-gallon tanks on a shelf there. But hey, if you guys want to see more content like this, and maybe if I touch on some topics here and there around the community, give me a good old thumbs up there, a like, something. Maybe subscribe to the channel, and there'll be a lot more updates. There's still a lot of stuff in the works with an Inky communal possibly happening, as well as an M. Balfouri communal hopefully coming soon. And with Repticon coming up within the next couple of weeks, I think, not next week, but I'm thinking the week after is Repticon. It's on the 10th of November in Tampa. I'll be going down that way. Like I said, I'll be looking for a couple of different species to bolster the collection. Some of those, I will be looking for hopefully two female emperor scorpions to mate with my male Anubis over here. So that way I can have little scorpions. Nice little emperor scorpions. I'm hoping to put two females in there, and hopefully he does the business with both of them, and then I'll have, I'll be up to my eyeballs in emperor scorplets, which would be absolutely wonderful. As well as I'll be looking for a couple of other species of tarantula. I'll be looking for a C. darlingi, which is the rear-horned African baboon. I've been in absolute love with this species ever since I've gotten into the hobby. I know they're kind of a really kind of plain tarantula, but I mean, come on, it's a unicorn. Look at that thing. And they make such wonderful webs. They're awesome. I'll be looking for one of those. And I'll also be looking for a Pteroposa sturmey. Because, I mean, hey, isn't that kind of like the Holy Grail? Well, not the Holy Grail. I mean, the Holy Grail right now is the T. Celedonia. Everyone knows about that one, but I don't have $700 to drop on a sling at the moment. No matter, now don't get me wrong, they're worth every damn penny. Every single penny of that. Because they are absolutely breathtaking. I've never been able to see one in person, but I've seen plenty of videos and pictures, and they are breathtaking. But, I'll get the next best thing, which is a T. sturmey. As well as maybe some new scorpions, maybe a centipede. I don't know, it depends on what I find. But, as always, if you like what you see here, please give me a thumbs up, a like, comment, subscribe, I have a Facebook, YouTube, or yeah, of course I have a YouTube because you're watching it. Brain farts. I have a Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Feel free to look up A on the Hybrid. If you like what you see here, you're definitely going to like what you see there. I post a lot of stuff up on my Instagram, mainly of my tarantulas that you're just not going to see. Little short snippets of video and pictures and stuff that you're just not going to see here. So if you want that extra content, search up my name, A on the Hybrid, on Facebook, Telegram, not Telegram. Well, I mean, you could look me up on Telegram, but Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And as always, you guys have a wonderful weekend, man. So long.